Right, I'm going to quickly shoot this one. And I've just like realised the time and I need to get going and do something because I want to train. I've put it off a little bit too much and I was almost putting it off to this afternoon. And I'm thinking, no, don't do that because that's when you then put it off again. So I want to get out and do that in a minute. Hello, sunshine. What was I on about? So, bubble in my throat. Yeah, there we go. No? Yeah, I suppose I better swallow at some point. Yeah, so the whole sort of genetics thing and that tendency for people to just believe something because they think they see it. They can't explain it, but because they can see it's happened, it must have happened. And things like karma and stuff. There's so many people that will believe in things like karma. And, you never know. But they won't believe in some of the things they can't understand about mental health, such as, well, you can just pull yourself together. And the only bit of the actual problem is caused by a biological defect, and the bits of you that need to start working in order to pull yourself together don't work at the moment. And there is reasoning that can explain it, yet that gets rejected offhand. Nope. Nope. But then again, with the gender thing, it's like, you could see he was always born a woman. People say that. And I just think, yeah, all right, Mother Nature makes mistakes. But I just really, my scientific and logical mind cannot reason its way round the fact that to be born with a penis or a vagina, to be, for your body to have been constructed that way, it has to have been male or female. And that moment happens at conception, at the moment of conception. But what I, I think the thing that got me onto it is that, people will sort of readily believe something. But so much of the time when I say, like, I can't do something, it's, oh, don't be stupid. And it's, their conclusion is that I'm being stupid. The truth of the matter is that they didn't understand. They didn't understand, so it was confusing. It was confusing, so it was therefore fucking stupid. I know that one. I call things fucking stupid all the time when I don't understand them. We all do it. Fucking stupid things. Is it stupid? You can wait for what are you fucking saying to me? What? That impatience with people. And, it's always shit that I'm always fucking battling. So, socialising to a lot of people is unwinding after work and doing things they want to do, whereas socialising to me is trying to make a success of it this time. Trying not to end up being the person with this, like, reputation for being the life and soul of the party, and I just walk in and something happens and I just think, whoa, what is this? What's happening? I'm not me at the moment, and I'm not responding as me, and it's and it's not that I was scared to be there, because if I was anxious about being there, I wouldn't go. I get that as well. That anxiety means I would stay home, because that's how I manage it. I mean, the times when I'm feeling fine in terms of anxiety about going somewhere, and then that happens. And yeah, it's always going to be rooted in all of those, feelings of self-deprecation, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. But that's when I say it's gone beyond that. It's in a practical sense. There's no there's no sort of deep interaction or any interaction going on, but I've still got this sense of, and it's schizoidicalness. Schizoid. Ooh, my little face when I said that. Did you see that? He's like, oh dear, Gizmo. Oh. A little kiss moment. But yeah, it's that whole thing of society thinking it knows what all the time. So, in society there's a belief that people should have been born female, and so they change their bodies to suit it. And it's, would some people think that that's what I should do? I think that's what I was a little bit trepidatious of when my friend said yesterday that you're, what was it? Not transforming, transcending. You're transcending. And that normally means like having the ops, I think. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I think she will have meant it in a spiritual sense. Um, a lot of people believe in the yin yang, the male and female side, and I have heard a lot of women say it must be hard for men to do that. I guess because of if a woman gets more manly, it's like go girl, rock chick, yeah, she gets kudos. You know what I mean? If she's been a bit more manly and taking charge, taking control, good on them. I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm not taking anything away from that at all. Everyone needs to find their own power, not power over others. That's where people get it wrong. If you're having power, that's dominion, that's bullying, that's controlling, that's naughty. Power is I am and I can, and that sort of shit. Yeah, fucking hell, keep fucking losing it. Keep fucking losing it. In a way, this is another little demonstration of symptoms, because it really is that point where you can't think. You can't think. You're standing looking at a computer screen and trying to think. You've done all your affirmations and all that stuff. You've got the banging attitude. But where was I going with it? It was around the fact that it's just made so impossible by those situations that other people are always complaining about and always stressed about. That's the thing. My meanness makes people like this so often. So often. And I've mentioned before, the self-esteem thing, a lot of the time it's in people's minds and they just think it, and it's like Mrs. Social Cues is in the ADHD list. And I remember thinking, what are social cues? But the only social cues I know are like, and blatantly looking at their watch or looking away and stuff like that, because, the subtleties are lost. I mean, it's to do with the not being able to focus and all that sort of stuff. But so when you get those social cues a lot, anyone would form not an opinion, they would have a learned experience, a lived experience, and that's how your subconscious learns. And you've got a subconscious that is always determined to re-fucking prove itself. So every time that feeling comes up, it goes, ta-da, I was right. It's a nagging little twat. A lot of those little feelings that you get is your subconscious going, see, I was right again. It's a dick. It really is a fucking dick. I'm going to talk to my favourite human about that, because I think I told her about the Your Subconscious is a Dick video. But when she started talking about this book, and she went, that reticular active, the RAS, it just called, and I was like, yeah, the reticular activating system. She was, fucking hell, and she was talking about how it looks for situations to prove, it's meant to help you, but then it also uses that same process against you. And it was the way I went, oh, your subconscious is a dick. She went, it's a fucking dick. She'd already gone down. That's why I really wanted to talk to her, because it was sort of quite far into our interaction, and I was, and she's still reading the book. But I was thinking, good, because you're thinking of it in terms that I am. Like, I can't explain all the minutiae. I'm seeing the dynamics. That's what I do, and I could tell that she was thinking like that, and summarizing it as it's a dick. So I knew she was on my wavelength, on my mindset with it. So I'm really keen to talk to her about that today, if she calls. Because this is one of the things that I always find that I'm always explaining to people, and they go, and they're like toe dipping it and finding it a bit curious. It's not often that I find someone who's already got there in terms of how they look at their subconscious mind. But then that would come from those people who have been at the receiving end of when it works against you. And maybe it doesn't work against everyone in the same way. That was my point about phenomena that you can't explain, but you can just see them happening anyway. So you can already do it, is my point. You can already do it. You can already say, well, I can't explain it, but it happens. Which you will do with gender, but you won't do with mental health. There we go. That was what I was trying to say. Does it make sense when I say it like that? I hope so. I know what I mean in my head. It's like, can't you just do with mental health what you do with everything else and just go, it's magic? Because of bad magic. It works by bad magic. It just does, is the thing. Like, when you send an email, you know what to do. You open up your account, you go to new mail, and you send it, and you know. But what's happening in amongst all that shit? You don't know. Some of you do. Some of you don't. A lot of you got no fucking idea, like me. There's electricity in there. And it does things. It computes. I know the basic layout of what's inside there, and I know roughly what's going on. But, it gets to a point. You think, but what's happening in there? It sends what? Oh, it sent as a frequency of, well, ones and zeros. That sort of shit. What's going on? You don't know. You don't need to know. Just know that it happens. When you press send, it happens. That's why you know that when someone says, did you email such and such, you know that you have. You just rely on it. It just happens. So, can you all just please have the same attitude towards mental health? And rather than going, what do you mean you can't? That is so common. What do you mean? With that fucking infantile tone of voice behind it, it bugs the fuck out of me, that tone of voice. But it's used all the time by adults when they're asking adult questions about adult situations. And that fucking manipulative, cajoling, coercive voice comes out. And, when you're being invited to talk about your mental health to people, and you know that there's so much of that out there, you think, well, why would I open up and talk about it? It's not the opening up and talking about it that you need to focus on, guys. It's what you do with it when people open up is what you need to focus on. And all of the heads that watch this video are nodding frantically. Like, it is. It really fucking is. Do you know what to do with them? Do you know what to do with them? A lot of you don't. A lot of you think you do, and that's the problem. Because you do the automatical society thing that everyone does. Oh, that? I recognise that. I know what that is. You're thinking this. I've seen this before. I know all about this one. Naturally, any human being in that situation will forget the dynamics of the situation, and they will be on a much bigger dynamic of, you don't know about this and I do because I've got experience, because I used to do this for a job or whatever, and you would instantly go into the adult role, the teaching role, because you think you're right. You think you've seen it. You know you have. Anything coming from me going, but, is now seen as interrupting, challenging, not listening. That's why I'm a prisoner to it. That's why I'm a fucking prisoner to it. Because of what naturally happens, what any human being will naturally do. And that's why I end up thinking, how can I tell you that I've had these problems all my life? And you said, if you tried not worrying. And really simplistical things like that, because that person has already subconsciously assumed that you are in the position of, this is all new to me and I don't know, what do you do here? What's this bit about? Hang on, let me show you. And that dynamic, that's what they call like a social contract that is done under the surface. When a lot of people say, I'm struggling with this, it means, can you help me? That kind of subtext. But then the person in society has put themselves in that role. A lot of the times when they've overheard you, I've had people muscle into conversations about mental health and start giving me that shit. That's the thing that needs to change. That's the thing that is not down to individuals or friends or whatever, and I'm not having a dig, but that is just out there, massively, indelibly, fucking rammed down your throatically. And that is the biggest part of trying to put whatever hilarious combination of mental health is your particular flavour that you're trying to insert into a society that thinks it accepts you and tells you so often.